So in February 2020, I spent a year in Scotland, in Aberdeen. In February, I was back in Nigeria briefly, and I decided to bring my parents over to Abuja to spend the time with me. And my mom noticed something. I wasn't entering the kitchen and everything, and she came to me, oh, why are you not cooking? I'm like, and I said to her, food is being cooked now. Is it a bad thing for me to put my leg on the table too and they will serve me? Nobody came to this world with pot and pan. So I was not born with broom. And neither was I born with pan. They want to be the greatest baker.
Someone is asking, how did you go after your husband or propose to your husband? How do you keep romance alive in your marriage? I think no, just slow down a bit. I think you should slow down in how you deliver this, because the women would learn a lot from that romance, and it may really help many men and their marriages today. So please share how you keep romance alive in your marriage.
Okay, thank you so much. So the first thing that I'm going to say is the fact that I'm a very goofy person. I laugh a lot, I joke a lot. And so I know some people see me, they're like, oh, they think that I'm this very serious person who is and I'm a very romantic person. Oh, Lord have mercy. It's unbelievable. For me, the way I look at it, I'm a businesswoman, right? I look at my marriage as if it's a project, it's a business. And for those who are in their jobs with career, like a career. So what I do is the fact that, what's my goal? First of all, I set goals, right? And I'm setting my goals from time to time. What are the things that I want to see in my marriage? I want happiness. I want fun. I want us to travel together. I want us to do this. I want us to do that. Rewritten goals. These are the things I want to achieve, long-term, short-term, and all of that. And so from time to time, I also check what are the things that are working, what are the things that are not working, and then throw them away. But one of the most important things in our marriage is the fact that we allow each other to be ourselves. So in our marriage, we're still our individuals. I have my set of friends. My husband has his sets of friends. He gets to do his own thing. I get to do my own thing. And then we have a place where we are aligning as a couple and we're doing our own thing. I see a lot of people, when they come together, they try to take over the other person's identity. They lose their identity in marriage. No, you must keep your identity. That's who you are. The other person also must keep their own identity, do their own thing, have their own friends, do their own crazy things. And then when they come together again, they're doing their own thing. Well, first of all, I don't say I'll be a dumb woman now. Yeah, man. A dumb woman. They're born us. I'm going to be very blunt here. Sex, it's a part of marriage, an amazing part of marriage. Amazing. If then why am I married? Is it food that I'm looking? Is it that I cannot feed myself? I can't feed myself. You understand? As a Muslim woman, I know that sex has to be doing. So that is important. And a lot of people neglect it. Islamically, for example, I'm going to go Islam says there must be foreplay before even sex. A lot of people, not the one that you're just coming, everybody is holding face. You must be able to look after yourself. Forget the fact that you see me in my hijab. No. That's what you see outside. My husband sees the babe in her little black dress, little red dress, bumper shorts, midi. I actually come with my female friends to my house. When they see me, there are times that I come into the house with them and then I go upstairs, I change, I come down. They don't know that I'm the one because I look different. They're used to seeing hijab. So all that one that as a man, you are just sitting down there, you will not dress up. Weekend, I'm seeing you. I beg, are you okay? You need to look good. I need to see you and feel good. You too, as a woman, you are carrying that, you tie your head, your wig, you removed it, the hair under is one kind. Are you okay? You need to entice each other. You need to know that, for example, men are good at one thing. Men use seeing. They are, what's it called? Visionary, right? Women are auditory.
Yeah.
Men are what's it? So men, it's what they see. They're going to see a fine babe wearing your clothes, whatever. it entices. Women want to hear, I love you, my sweetheart, when I'm coming home, call her, talk to her, messages. When in the early years of our marriage, before text messages spoiled everything, I used to write notes for my husband and drop them in the pockets in his clothing. Oh, so when he goes out, he's going to find one message or the other. And so that's sort of like, brother, I love you was something that has to be done. We, even up to today, we don't talk to each other on the phone without ending with I love you. When he's going out, I'm going to tell him how much I love you. One of the things that have happened, I said there are people who have, for the last 10 years, they haven't heard their spouse say I love you to them. And then you are asking them, they say, but he knows now. How would the person know? But she knows now. No, I don't know. You need to tell me. You need to tell me. And then, of course, being a woman, being brought up in a society where we're supposed to be conservative. No, I can never be second wife. Somebody just asked me if I can be second wife, but I can allow my husband to marry second wife. And it's crazy, right? That was how. And actually, really, honestly, on a very serious note, I used to ask my husband to marry a second wife until one day he said to me, it seems as if I don't love him. Because I just felt that sometimes I'm going to be crazy and go, my husband we're so close to each other. Let me give you, in a way, in the case of myself and my husband, we're so close. And sometimes it scares me. I've actually said to my friends that if I die before my husband, they should not let him stay over 6 months without getting into a relationship again or getting married. I've left that, and I've told him, and I've left that with him because there's so much attachment. Even, when people even my kids, my daughter one time, she was like, Mommy, how does somebody live their life so much that if you're not there, it's almost as if it's because we are very close and we have love and respect. And we're always thinking of how to make the other person happy. So that's one of the things we do. So in my own way, I'm always thinking of what are the things that I'm going to do for my husband that will make him happy? What are the things that he likes? So all of those, he too is thinking that way. So at the end of the day, guess what? We are meeting at a place where we are pleasing each other. We are going out of our way to please each other. Before the terrorist attacks and everything that started happening in Nigeria, every Saturday was our date night. Every Saturday, myself and my husband, Saturday night was my night. I took care, I'll do everything. He'll take me out, we'll go to a bar, either going to a bar or any of this market, we'll sit down, we'll gist, we'll talk, we'll have fun. And there was so much communication. There's so much communication. And we would talk, and, I read a lot of M&B, and I decided I was going to practice every of that M&B in my life. Honestly, for me, I think it would be almost like writing a whole book, just writing about the romantic side of my relationship. And there's one thing also that my husband always talks about. I don't know whether it's a secret I should say, but there's one thing. We've been married for 22 years and I've never said no to him.
Wow.
Yeah. So anytime, I see some women, when they say they are angry. Oh, no, they will, because it's happening a lot. When you're talking to a lot of people, you find out that women are stabbing their husbands of sex. You don't do that. It's abuse. That's also an abuse. There's no need. But of course, if he has been a naughty boy, there's a way you make him feel that, yes, you're doing it, but this one is, you are naughty. So he always, for him, it means a lot. He always says that for the 22 years we've been married, no, never. Wow. But then I'd be a dumb woman anyway.
That is remarkable. That's remarkable. So let me take us to another angle, because I know people want to tabernacle around sex now. So in your opinion, especially in our world and all the things we see facing women, sexism, domestic abuse, religious restrictions, even envy from other women, especially amongst our Black crew, racism, do you think most women walking around at the moment are altered versions of themselves? I mean, I'm a coach, so I see this with a lot of the women I work with. I'm just like, this is not you. What is wrong with you people? Do you understand? So we see a version of women who don't even know what they look like any longer, who never actually discovered who they really are. So is this a case where our men, and I think it's a bit unfair to the men, because in that men are marrying or are coming to see women who are not actually the right version of the woman that they are settling down with. Do you understand? So it's an imbalance. What do you want to say about that?
I think what happens is that a lot of people are afraid to be themselves. So it is either oh, okay, if I show this way, I might not have the man will leave. Or, in fact, some people will tell, oh, I've invested 10 years in this relationship and I cannot move on. And then even if the man is not right, they're going ahead to marry the person or going ahead to marry the woman or per se. So it's that issue of being afraid. The first thing is to be who you are. There's always somebody, no matter how crazy you are, there's somebody for someone. I was told I wouldn't last in a man's house. Guess what? I've had amazing relationships. I've been married to my husband for 22 years. April 17th will be 23 years. And I tell you, it is super amazing. I used to fight. And at one time, I was made to feel guilty that I have an amazing relationship with my husband. Even as a young couple, amongst my friends, because it's always like, oh, Aisha, go and see that your husband is different. Oh, Aisha, this. Oh, to the extent, there was at one time in my life that I almost, when I would just be looking for, let's even have one small issue with my husband, so that I'll be able to tell them, oh, I actually had this issue with my husband. So it's not looking as if, oh, you are somehow different. So that in a way, because a lot of people are shamed when they have good relationship, they are being shamed. They are the ones, there's this tyranny of the majority now, where they are shaming people with amazing relationship, even when you're speaking about it. Go and sit down. It will not last long. And maybe they are hiding something inside. And I said, no. So we also, there's also that abuse. A lot of women, like I said, they are afraid, and a lot of people are afraid to own up to who they are. So they rather live a life. When I met my husband, when my husband was proposing, like somebody asked me, how did he propose? I nudged him to propose. When I met my husband, I fell in love with him. First time, love at first time. But he didn't fall in love with me. He was in a relationship. And I respect him, for he's that kind of person. He's a one-woman kind of woman being. And by the way, I didn't break up the relationship. They broke up the relationship before I came in. Okay, let me just give a bit of this, and so that people will understand. So my husband was in an 8-year-old relationship with a lady, and they were coming together. He had even sent her to school. She was in school, university, but she was a Christian. She's alive, so it's not a was. She's a Christian, and her parents didn't want her to marry a Muslim. So while they were still together, even in the house there, she actually started. She was going out with other people. She was engaged to be married. Her wedding card was out, and my husband didn't know. It was one of the friends that saw the wedding card and it was like, oh boy, not be your baby. This one we were married, so. And my husband was shocked, and they had gone out. They had gone out for 8 years. So as of that time, I think I had started making. I met my husband December 13th, 2006. 1996. And so by August, we had started going out. So within that period, I had started. After a wedding, I met my husband at a wedding that we did for my uncle's bachelor's eve. And then, in those days when they do this wedding, there's this video cassette that they normally share around. So I decided I was going to take it to him just to meet him and all of that. And then we started talking. And the first thing my husband said to me was, why are you dressed like Hausa? And I looked at him, I said, no, I'm not dressed like Hausa, I'm dressed like a Muslim, because then I was covering myself. And he was like, he doesn't talk to girls who cover themselves and all of that. But I didn't stop. And I let my husband know that my hijab was non-negotiable. If I'm going to drop my hijab, forget about it. I'm not going to get married to you. It's as simple as that. And so for me, heads on, he knew this was something that was non-negotiable. I don't care whatever it is you want. This is who I am, and that's how I'm going to be. And so I took that to my husband. And I remember another time again, I went to go and collect it, even though he hadn't brought it, so that was for me. I was just shooting my shots and going before he started coming. So I knew. So when my husband got this, and then we started going out, there was a lot of trust issues between my husband and myself, because somebody had just broken his heart. He had gone out with her 8 years. She was, he started, she was getting married without him knowing. And there was that trust issue. I would say something, and of course you understand with him. One day I called him, so we got married 8 months after we started going out. So it was quite a short By the second month, we knew we were getting married and everything. By first month, he had gone to see my parents and all of that. So I sat my husband and I said to him, I need a conversation with you. And I said, I mentioned I don't want to mention her name now. I'm not your girlfriend. So I mentioned I say, I am not your former girlfriend. So when I say things to you, don't doubt me. Wow. The fact that she betrayed you doesn't mean that I am going to betray you. And if you are not able to get over that, then I cannot be in this relationship where somebody is doubting my words, where my words don't. So I was upfront with him. And from that day, of course, he too stopped that. So you see, I wasn't afraid. I wasn't trying to say, oh, because somebody has broken his heart, then I have to be the one to mend it, and then I'll be doing extra. No, boy. This is who I am. And if you cannot accept me for who I am, I told him, don't bring the baggage of the relationship, failed relationship you had into this new relationship we are starting. And so that was part of the things that we did. So upfront, from that day, there was a change. I didn't see him doubting my words, or when I say something, he's trying to. I understood the fact that, he was having trust issues because of the girl, but I also made him know that this is me, this is Aisha, this is not that other lady, and so drop that. Before that, also at the party that I met my husband, there was another doctor that had seen me, and then he started toasting me. And he was coming, but I didn't really like him. I was already in love with my husband, and I wasn't interested. And like I said to you earlier, I was never interested in people that came for me. I had to be the one to do the chasing. I'm that crazy. I'm a control freak, honestly. And so this man, on 1997, on Valentine's Day, he came to me and he said to me, oh, that he had bought chicken, that I should come to his house and cook for him. And I said to him, I too, I'm looking for who will cook for me. So that was the end of that relationship. You see, upfront, what? Valentine's Day, you couldn't even think of buying a gift for me. You couldn't even you are telling me that I should come to your house and cook for you. Sorry, I don't do that. And even the husband that I married, the only time I cooked for him was after we were married. Any other time, I would call them, oh boy, even if I'm coming to your house to visit in your house with my siblings, you have to be the one to cook for me. I was not ready to come and do. And one thing is that for me, I've always lived a life that I'm true to myself. So who you see is what I'm not. I never try to enter people's good shoes. So because of that, I don't seek people's validation. Even like my parents-in-law. And I must tell you this, honestly, I've never even swept. Maybe like you go to your parents-in-law's house, you'll not be sweeping. Any day you go, you'll be sweeping, you'll be cleaning, you'll be making that. No, I never did that up to today. Why? Because my husband is the second born, and then his father had 3 wives, and they have a lot of children. And my husband has quite a number of siblings. As far as I'm concerned, the moment I married my husband, I too, I was the second born in that family. And then every other person is my junior. So I cannot come and start sweeping the ground when I have junior ones that will sweep. What kind of thing? So that they will say I'm a good girl. Remember, I said I never wanted to be a good wife anyway. I wanted to be me. I said before. So because a lot of people they are seeking for validation from people. They want people to love them, to feel like this thing. No, I never wanted that. And if he didn't want me, you say, oh, because maybe your parents will say, because I came to their house, I did not sweep the floor, that they should not marry me anymore. No problem. I will carry my leg and go. Because even when I met my husband, I wasn't even really looking for marriage anyway. When I got married, I was the oldest in my family that had not gotten married, and I wasn't bothered. And I told my sister, I said, please, go ahead and get married. Because me, I wanted to start working and make my own money more than I was interested in marriage. I just fell in love with my husband, and I ended up married at the age of 24. So I think this is the thing where people are not living their lives because they are seeking other people's validation, and they just deny themselves a lot of things. You find out that women think that they can't ask their spouses for sex. Why not? Oh boy, I want to do this, I want to do it. This is that today. Hello, darling, today. You've got to work. It's as simple as that. Then they are feeling, oh, if not, they will say, I'm a bad woman. I'm supposed to be a bad woman. And, when I got married to my husband, on our wedding night, one thing I said to him was that whatever fantasy you have, however,
wow,
ensure I am here to fulfill it. That's my job. As simple as A, B, C, D. For me, let me tell you something. Cooking, I might not cook. I might not sweep and clean. I can't remember when in the last 20 something years, I've not ironed any clothes. I'm washing. I can't remember when last I carried this thing. I have people that wash. Cleaning, I'm not going to do it, nothing. The only job that is mine to do exclusively is satisfying you now. So what else do I have to do? A lot of women, because they want to be good wives, they will spend so much of their energy cooking. Some of them are doing all so much. And then at the end of the day, they don't have energy for that intimacy. No, I'm gonna give out everything that needs to be outsource anything that needs to be sold. Somebody is cleaning the house, somebody is doing the business now that I want to do. So when my husband comes, I have enough time for him. I am baby. And I'm not going to, a lot of people want to be known as wife. So you are the one pounding the yard, you are the one sweeping the floor. No. I am cheap. I am the one, I'm the side chick that knows how to spend money. Baby, I need this, I need that. Take care of me. That's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to be doing like wife and ending up like some old maid. Yeah, I'll force everything other than that ministry. That's where I know I'm not the one.
Love it. So I know you're a very well-read person, and actually an avid reader of my mentor, John Maxwell. And you quote a lot of John Maxwell's stuff. And I just wonder, and you've said it a lot, what's the place of women? How important is it for women to be well-read, to be learned, to equip themselves, to study? And how has the things you've read, how has it helped you to overcome, the voices in your head, the limiting beliefs in your head, those things that affect confidence and that stop women from identifying as who they are supposed to be? Because when I hear you, I hear somebody who's well-read, and I can tell that you've allowed growth. You're a person of growth. You've allowed growth to definitely define you. So this is not just reading book for the sake of reading book, but you have actually read to apply yourself to it. How can you encourage the women who are listening that they can be empowered, study for themselves, and become better people by applying the things they study?
So I would say that an educated woman is a romantic woman.
Wow.
I mean, it's the one. Yeah, it is. You are able to meet at a level. It's not just a body, apart from one bank thanks ma'am. You'll be able to meet at an intellectual level. I sometimes I get the phone call and my husband is like, oh, I'm going through this in the office and I need your thoughts on this, that. And I give him. We are meeting at that intellectual level.
Yep. Tell me about it.
There is emotional level, there's intellectual one. You should be able to discuss things, you should be able to have conversation. There are a lot of, even like growing up, honestly, at one time, I really, and I don't know whether somebody is going to accuse me of being sexist now. Most of my friends were male. I couldn't connect with my female counterparts growing up. Why? Because most of the conversation were about boys, about some kind of. I won't have time for that gist. I don't have time for that. I needed intellectual discussion. Though now as an adult, I'm finding that more a good number of my women that we were able to operate, yes, at that level. I started reading motivational books when I was around 11, 12. And so that sort of like guided my life. And I knew, even though I grew up in the ghetto, I knew there was a world out there that I could do so much. And not just to read, because I had friends, like I had a friend who we read together a good number of books. I got them for her husband. But there's a difference between reading and not applying it. Many people read, but they never apply them. They just read them and then you drop the book. What's the essence? You're supposed to use them, take them on, and be able to confidently apply them to your life, irrespective of what any other person is saying. And I think it's very important for a lot of women to understand that life is beyond just discussing Ashwebi. Life is beyond just discussing the latest bag. Who cares about what bag you're holding? Life is beyond just sitting down and thinking about, oh, did you see that person? Did you even see what she was wearing? My own gold was more than, this person gave up. Who has time for all of that? there are so many things that that you should be reading and you're discussing at an intellectual level, and it helps even your relationship. Because you find that there are some people, they cannot even have a conversation. Yep. For me, the beautiful times that I spend with my husband is sometimes we actually do what do you call it, a TDB, till daybreak, gisting. There are days that we gist all the way to like maybe 5 a.m. Wow. We're just on the bed, we're gisting, we're talking, there's this story, we're bringing this up. So it helps a lot. When you cannot meet at a place where you are having a conversation, it limits your marriage. So the gist that you're supposed to be doing together, you're either going to find it with different people. He has to go and find somebody else that is going to have this conversation with, because he cannot have those intellectual conversations with you. So that's the reason why he's going to spend time outside. That's the reason he's going to be somewhere. And you too, there's some gist. Yes, there are certain gists that, of course, both of you, that's the reason why you need to have your healthy base friends separate from this thing. I have certain gists that I know, even if I'm gisting my husband, he will not understand. I have a friend, Maureen, I know maybe there's something that has happened on social media that if I'm gisting my husband, the gist no go flow. So I'm going to meet my friend who will gist that gist. Here too, there are certain gists that, of course, there are this gist he does, it might not flow with me. It's their own thing that we understand. He will do that. But there are certain gists that we know we can sit down and talk on intellectually. Reading is very important. And I think I will tell you something. In recent years, I've not read as much as I used to read. And my husband is always the one that is saying to me, Kai, because he said he loved the fact that how much I read. I was such a voracious reader. I read, so read. But in recent times, of course, social media and everything, I don't read as much, and it's always it's always paining him, and that he feels that, oh, you're not reading as much as you used to read. You need to be reading, and all of that. Okay, someone is asking about motivational books to read, if you're abused at that young age. Yes, books they will help. They will help, and I think the most important thing is having a strong character and just knowing that you deserve a life. You understand? Even when it means standing up against your parents, you have to do. And let me tell you, one of the things I said to a lot of people, sadly, for example, in Nigeria here, where many people we are in an abusive relationship with our government, where many people think it's okay for citizens to be treated anyhow, is because the number one dictators we had were our parents. Parents, and even parents up to today, are dictators. They do not allow their children to have their voices in their houses, and then that abusive relationship starts from the parents, where it's always give you order, and that's it. You still find that even up to today, parents are the ones still telling their children what courses they are going to read in the university. That's abuse. And so people have gotten into that so much that they just feel like it's normal for the abuse to continue. Books will help. And then beyond books also, therapy helps. Let people not be shamed or feel that, oh, it's only when you are mentally sick that you... No, therapy helps. Get into and allow yourself, understand that if anything has happened in your life, don't sweep it down the cupboard. If it's possible and you can do it, confront the people who actually caused those pains in your life, if they're still around and still there, and don't just leave it. Don't just do things to say, let everybody have peace. No, you are the one that is supposed to have peace first. As long as you don't have peace, nobody should have peace. You have to say your mind and do your thing. And then when you get to that place, then it's okay to allow everybody. Because one of the things that happen is that many people don't want to rock the boat. Even in families, you find that people are living with their abusers. They are seeing their abusers every day. And most of these are actually family members. And then people are not saying anything just because of the fact that, oh, I don't want the peace that is here. No. The peace you should be more interested in is the peace that is within yourself. And as long as that peace is not there, and then forget about it.
All right, we'll not take that question. So many people don't know you as a successful entrepreneur, right? And that's one of the reasons I really wanted to speak with you, because the image is just that of you being an activist. How did you get into business, and what can you say to, especially for us here in the West? I'm working with so many ladies who are stuck in the 9-to-5 and would love to do business, but don't know how to do that kind of transition. What can you tell people for them to get to that place where they can transit from 9 to 5 to business?
Okay, so the first thing I'm going to say that is that business is not easy. The way people, I think the people romanticize it and think that, oh, the moment you're working for yourself, that means you have hammered. I think people mistake entrepreneurship with financial independence. No, it's not. So first of all, whether you're one of the things I would like to say is that whether you're doing 9 to 5 job or you're doing a business, everyone can be financially independent. It depends on how financially literate you are and how you are ready to put the step, work towards that financial independence. Business and you earn profit from your business, right? Just the same way you earn salary from if you're working 9 to 5 job, and they are both active income. Any income that you have to work for before you get it, it's active income. The income that you no longer have to work for, that you've already worked and put things in place and is coming whether you're doing anything or not, is your passive income. And we're talking of things like rent, dividends, royalties. If you are a sleeping partner in a business, the profit you get there, that will be considered as your passive income. So that's very important people to understand that. Then in terms of going into business, and I always say to people, there's no any business has the potential of making you a billionaire. The thing is that, are you ready to give what it takes? So that's where the main issue is. So because I find that sometimes people over the years, people will come and meet me and like, oh, I have so and so money, what business should I go into? No, it's not about any business you see, but is it what is good enough for you? Before anyone start a business, you have to first of all think, is that business the kind of business that you can do? Is it what you have passion for? Is it what you're ready to do? And all of that. So first of all, let me just give an example of myself. The first business I started was in the year 2000. The reason why I went into business was more because of my husband than me. I was thinking of lecturing was what I wanted to do, thinking of getting a job. My husband was always like, oh, he was doing 9 to 5 job, and he felt, oh, if he had been working for himself, he would have be able to make it more than the 9 to 5 job that he was doing. My husband is a chartered accountant. He became a chartered accountant in 1986. Yeah, 87. 86 or 87 was when he became a chartered accountant. And so when I left school, so I was still trying to look for whether there was job, and I started business. And the first business I did was I was going to Dubai to go and buy things to sell, and I'll bring them to Nigeria and sell. And that was a mistake because I just started from going to Dubai. The first thing you do in whatever business you're starting is first of all to start small and think big.
Yeah.
Many people start big. So many people think that, if you're doing a business, it's, if I can get the capital. No, it's not about the capital. It's about, first of all, you having an idea.
Yeah.
This person said, Robert Kiyosaki said that if you can't make money without money, then you will not be able to make money with money. You first of all have to learn how to make money without money. And a lot of people think, how can you say start something?
No. Come on. So guys, let's wait. All right, guys, what an evening. What an explosive evening. We're just going to, I'm sure she'll be back. Let me just remove her from the stream. She's back.
Yeah, I think I'm here.
All right, good stuff. Go on. You're talking business.
Hello?
You're thinking about...
Okay, yes. So when I went and then I started buying as coming in. So that was a mistake. I started big. What I needed to have done was to have ensured that, first of all, I started collecting from people who were already going to Dubai. In that way, I will first of all understand, is it a kind of business that I'm ready to do? Is it something that I can do? And also build my own customer base before I started going. So when I first of all went, the first place I went was to go to Dubai, start bringing. That was when I started building my customer base. And then I realized I wasn't the kind of person who was very good at collecting money from people. You know, people will buy on credit, you go and collect the money and all of that. At the end of the day, anyway, to cut a long story short, I actually lost the business field before I started the next business that I did, which was selling chicken feed, which I'm still doing up till now. So coming back to, for those who want to go from 9-to-5 job to business, the thing is that you need to start something while you're still working.
Yeah.
Not using your employer's time. Find how you can do it in your own spare time. There is time for anything. And if you want to create time, you will always find that time. And so it's very important for you, for whoever is the person, for you to make that leap from 9-to-5 to business. Start it while you're still working. Start it small. Learn the nitty-gritty of the business. And for those who are from Nigeria, you know, when you're talking about the Igbo man or Igbo woman, we always say, oh, they're very good at business. They were not born with business acumen. They learned it. That's the difference. A lot of people, we just want to jump into business and start learning it. Meanwhile, he has been doing apprenticeship for maybe 5-7 years. He has learned the nitty-gritty of the business. And then when he starts also, when you start, it's also a different ballgame. You have to learn more. And when you start small, whatever mistakes you're making, you are able to absorb the mistakes. So, and that's the reason why I say when you're starting a business, start from the point of you can lose everything. I see a lot of people who are like being spiritual. Oh no, God will bless this business. Nothing will happen. I'm like, guys, think of what will happen. You first of all put it at the back of your mind that you can lose anything. So when you look at it, that will say to yourself, can I afford to lose this business? Can I afford to lose this money? If the answer is yes, go ahead. If the answer is no, scale it down. Don't use money that you cannot afford. And then when you're starting a business, don't borrow to start a business. Use your own money. You borrow to expand, to grow your business, not to start your business. It's the worst thing you do. You see people will go and collect loan. They're starting a business. There's a lag phase where nothing is happening. Your business is there, it's stagnant. You probably are making losses for the first few months or few years before you get to a place where you now begin to make profit. So you need to use your money. And then when you're using your own money, small money, you don't make unnecessary mistakes. You put the money where it's needed. Most businesses are killed by too much capital. You have so much capital, you are doing them on, you are spending the money on things that you don't need to spend this money on. So coming to the question of what kind of business should I do? Part of the things that I said to people is that there are 4 areas that I feel when you are starting a business, one of them is fulfilling a need. Is there a need that you're going to fulfill and you earn money from that? For example, my second business came from fulfilling a need. My husband, we had moved into a new house in Kaduna. We had a shed that was there because it was a new house, and then snakes were disturbing us. Sometimes you come and then you see snakes there. So my husband decided to turn that shed into a poultry and start. He loves rearing. My husband is somebody who is very nurturing. I'm not a nurturing person. I'm not, like I said to a lot, I'm just this digressing now. I think I need to add this thing. I said to a lot of people, I'm not a motherly person. Well, why do you have to? I said, I can't do more than 2 kids. I gave my children my all, but I couldn't wait for them to be grown. And right now, honestly, I'm happy they're adults. I'm like, I can't even wait for them to be done with university and we can relate with each other just as adults. Wow. I mean, you are living your life, I'm living my life. But you see, it's a lot of things that a lot of African women are scared of talking about, because you have to force yourself and say, oh, you are not. No, I'm not a motherly person. My husband is the one who nurtures. He's the one who is very nurturing. He nurtures. So with this poultry that he had, so when we had the poultry, we were living in a place called Kumimash, and it was very difficult to get chicken feed. So he had to go far away. And he kept saying, oh, it's so hard to get chicken feed. And then there was a friend of his who had lost his job. He used to work at Nipos, and then they had retrenched people. And my husband would say to both of us, oh, if any of you will start this chicken feed. And you know what was happening? One day I just decided, I just went and I looked for a shop and I started. And the very day I opened the shop, a lot of people were coming to the shop. They were blessing me. They were thanking me because I had opened the shop. It was so difficult getting feed. So what did I do? I was meeting a need. So I was fulfilling a need. That's very important.
That's so good.
The next thing also to look at for when if you want to start a business, ideas or is to think about carrying an idea from one place to another. Wow. You see something that is happening somewhere, you take it to another place, and then it will work there. So transferring ideas, business ideas from one place to another. For example, a few years ago in Nigeria, we didn't have ATM, we didn't have POS, but now we do. That's something. There are so many things. I remember in the year 2000, when I first went to Dubai, I saw this water dispenser. And as soon as I came back, I said to my husband, this thing is amazing. This thing you need to do this business. I wasn't even thinking about myself because I was just trying to grow my little business. I was saying to him, you need to do it. We need to have water dispenser, people, hospitals, we want it, businesses, schools. And that was in the year 2000, 20 years ago. Today, I see Seaway. Seaway, I think, are the first ones that brought water dispensers to Nigeria. I probably could have been the first one to bring it into Nigeria. And that would have been an amazing thing. That would have been an amazing idea. And then, I was just starting business then. That was 20 years ago. If it is today that I see that kind of business opportunity, I'll just say to my husband, this thing, before you know what's happening, already bringing containers down to business. So that's the thing so you transfer ideas from one place to another. Then the third thing is improving on an existing business. Yeah. What business do you see and what are the things you can improve? So these are business where you get business ideas for. There is a business, but you find out that there's so many, for example, all these like tailoring, where people in Nigeria, people will sew clothes before they will get it to you. It takes so you are always fighting with tailors during this thing. You can decide to have your own tailoring shop where you go to the customer, you collect it, the time that you're supposed to give them, you give them and all of that. And I say to people, the difference between Meishai in Nigeria, there's no a difference between Meishai in Nigeria and what's this coffee shop? What was this coffee shop called?
Starbucks.
Where they buy food? Starbucks, yeah. Difference between Meishai and Starbucks is just packaging. Yep. It's the same thing, the same idea and everything, but it's just that this one is by the roadside and this one is there. So you can look at, for example, Meishai in Nigeria and take it and upgrade it to a bigger level. For example, many people leave their houses early now. Many people don't do breakfast at home. You can have a place where people can just drive by and just get their correct breakfast. If it's a kamu and akara they want to eat, or if it's a beans and this thing they want to, beans and bread, or if it's tea with the egg and whatever, however, you just quickly, sharp, get your breakfast. You can have something like that, noodle and eggs and all of that. So that is improving on an existing business. And then the final thing, of course, is hobby business. What is it that you love to do that you can transfer into money-making venture? So that is it. Are you somebody who loves to cook? Are you somebody who loves you're fashion designer, you love to put things together? I mean, things that people seemingly will not think of anything, they put it together, it looks amazing. Are you one of that? That's something that also you can do and somebody can put it into business. So these are the four things that in my own way, that I think ideas that people can have in starting a business. But it's very important for anyone thinking of leaving their job to first of all start something while they're still working, because there are so many mistakes you make and you learn from there. And then as you're going on, you're learning about the business so that it gets to a place where you can now move over. But whatever anyone is doing, don't use your employer's time to run your own business. Never, ever. Do it in your spare time. And I tell you, we have so many spare time and things that we can do. But there is a particular business that people really don't see it. It's never seen as business because the adrenaline of doing business is not there. And that's acquiring properties. Property. Business makes you rich. Real estate makes you wealthy.
Yeah.
For those of us here buying land, I say to people, as much as you can, keep buying land. For me, that's one of the biggest things that I did in my business. Profit I'm making and everything, I put it towards buying land, and then I started building, having this passive income, and you have For those who are, for example, like those who are abroad in this, mortgage is there. Get a house, put it on, rent it out. Make sure that the money you're getting from that, from the rent is enough to pay your mortgage and leave something over. You've gotten that house. Work again. Go and look for another house. Get another house. When you're starting your life early enough, that's not the time to be going abroad on vacation, to be doing all of this. That's not the time. Because what you have is that a lot of people work for the money. According to the richest man in Babylon, he said that more are like slaves and they should work for you. Many people work for their money rather than their money working for them. So what do I mean by people working for their money? You've done 9 to 5 job, how many hours, whatever it is, you've been paid at the end of the month. And then you use that money and you begin to spend it. Oh, you are putting it together, you go on vacation. The money hasn't even worked for you. You were the one that worked for the money. What you're supposed to do is that as you're getting that money, you're paying, you have your budget, you have what are your essential needs, you have the ones that are not non-essential needs, and then you have your savings that you're doing. At least 10% of your income, you should save it. Some people can save as much as 50% of their income, especially before kids happen, especially when they start their jobs. All of this money, you're supposed to save them. When you save them, these are the monies you're supposed to put towards either investments that we appreciate over time or passive income yielding investments. For example, houses, you're able to have mortgage over there. You put something that you buy mortgage, you have tenants in your houses or students, any of that, they're bringing in money and you're putting that also, you're saving that and looking for more houses that you own. You can put a distance and say, in the next 10 years, I should have income. I should have my houses maybe like from 1 million to 10 million pounds houses that I have. And then they should be bringing every year, I should be getting like close to like 40 to 50,000 pounds per annum that I'm collecting in rent and all of that. These are goals that are supposed to set those goals down and begin to work towards it. The time to be changing cars that's not the time. It's not time to be going on unnecessary holidays. It's not time to be buying those expensive bags and whatever. Nobody cares what bag you are holding. The only person who knows what bag you are holding is you that is holding the bag. I tell you, even the people you go to party, they won't even remember what color of clothing you're wearing. When this passive income, when this investment have started yielding money, that's when you will not be using that money to go on holiday. Wow. You use the money to buy all of these cars you need. You need to use the money to do all of these things, not when you are starting. You see people are struggling, saving money to go to holidays. Why are you saving money to go to holidays? If you have to save money to go to holidays, sorry, you've not yet reached the level of people that are going to holiday. Wow. That money, instead of saving it and using it, that means you are not the one who has worked for your money. What you should be doing is that you will save that money and put the money to work. When the money has needed some things, put their children, their grandchildren and great-grandchildren to work. When they are not working enough, then you will not be sitting down and relax, and then you'll not be going on holidays the way that you want. Wow.
So a friend of mine just sent me a text because I actually run a property company with two of my partners, and we just ended a property summit just yesterday. And she just sent the text saying, just as if you were at that summit, because you're just emphasizing some of the things that was said on the summit this weekend. And if anyone is listening, you need any help with property, send me a DM. We can help you, both here and in Nigeria, even in the States. Send me a DM. You just heard Aisha say, property, real estate will build you well. All right, indulge me. I feel like I have to ask you every question in the world. I don't know when I'm going to get you again. So guys, indulge me. We've never had 2 hours before, but Aisha is a record breaker and everything. But before I ask my next question, is there a subject you don't know anything about? Because you're so widely knowledgeable. Is there anything? And this is why I wanted you to come here, because when everybody talks to you, talks about Aisha and only see her in the activism, I'm like, you people don't know who Aisha means. Aisha, for me, Aisha is actually a businesswoman, first of all, before any of that. But is there something you don't know about? You've talked about relationship, sex, family, parenting, business, property.
Technology. I'm poor when it comes to technology. I'm very poor when it comes to tech. This thing. So I'm trying to learn. I try to learn and. But you see, one of the things is that one of the beauty of that comes from reading novels.
Yeah.
So when you read a lot of these novels and books, so there are so many things that are being touched upon. Even though I'm one person who I don't listen to news or radio, TV, read newspapers. And I always say to people, if not for the fact that I read books, I would have been so unintelligent. I would have been so unknowledgeable and everything. But I think for me, it's just reading quite a number of novels and also books. I really read books, even though now I'm beating myself up because I'm not reading as I used to before, because I think social media is taking away so much of that. But growing up, I read so much, and I sort of like have this retentive memory. And if I read something, it just somehow stays in there. But there are quite a number of things that I really don't know about. But one of the things about me is that I love to learn. I love to learn. And let me tell you, I'm never ashamed of saying I don't know. So if there's something now like, and I love so much. I learn from anybody and everybody. I'm always learning in everything I find myself. Like, what are the things that I can learn from this? And I tell you, my children have also been so much of my teachers. Recently, I think about a few months ago, I learned about pink tax. I didn't know what was pink tax, and I learned it from my daughter. Things like body shaming, I learned that from my daughter and from my children. And so these are some of the things that growing up, we didn't see it as anything. I mean, it was normal. You know, you call somebody, fatty bobo, this time you're suffering, you know, all of that. And it's my child saying to me, no, mommy, that's body shaming. You can't do that. And because I'm open to learning, and I think that's why a lot of people miss out. For me, I love to learn, and I always love to say I don't know something. Because when I say I don't know, I open myself to learning. And as of that time, you are transferring that knowledge to me, and I get hold of it. You can't take it back again. And so even when I was in secondary school, when I had changed my school, I couldn't speak English when I started private. When I was in government school, I had to come down a class down, step down, and I started private school. I couldn't speak English. They made fun of me. And so that's why even today, because of the fact that I grew up, and then I grew up, we didn't have television. I couldn't watch a lot of, movies and all of that. That's where you learn how to pronounce a lot of words. There are so many words that my writing is actually better than my speaking that I don't know. So what I just do is I avoid those words. And even sometimes it's my children that will always say, oh, mommy, they make fun of me. I'm like, oh, mommy, what are you saying? And they teach me how to do it. So for me, after the whole laughter, I remember in secondary school, I would say to them, okay, you finish laughing. Can you now tell me the right way to pronounce this? Can you tell me? And then the moment I learn it, that's it. By the time I was in SS1, I was the best student in English. So I love to learn. So maybe that's why I seem to have a touch in different.
No matter what happens, this conversation is not going to go past 10. Indulge me quickly. Do you think men have it easy compared to women?
No, men don't have it easy.
Okay.
The only thing that men have is
because you hear a lot of women say that, so it will be good to hear.
No, they don't. So let me give you an example of what happened with End SARS.
Yep.
With End SARS, a lot of men are being abused. Men are the victim of SARS. But we didn't get to hear a lot of them. Because why? Men are told to shut up. Men are told to chin up. Men are told not to cry. They are told, oh, are you not a man? And that's unfair. Even men too, it goes both ways. The only place that men have advantage over women is the fact that it's the patriarchal society where they are allowed to do certain things and women are more not allowed to do certain things. But it doesn't mean that men have it easy. Let me give you an example. There are a lot of men who are sort of like feminine in the way they do things. And they are shamed from doing that. Why are you behaving like a woman rapper and all of that? And they are made to show that men are being abused in their relationship, but they are shamed from speaking about those abuses. They make fun of them. Where a woman will get sympathy because she's being abused in a relationship. A man is being abused in that relationship, but instead of getting sympathy, he actually gets so you see that what happens now. I know a particular word, but I don't know how to pronounce it, and I'm stuck. Yeah, so I will always spell it DERISON to pronounce it the way. And I always say to people, look, I'm not ashamed of the fact. I always tell you there are some words that I don't know how to pronounce in English based on where I'm coming from. So instead of them to have sympathy, so they are actually maligned. They are mocked. They are made to feel ashamed. So they don't have it as easy as women as we tend to think, because we are looking at it. Oh, it's a patriarchal society where this happens and that happens. No, but so I don't believe that men have it easy. There are so many things also where they are feeling the effect of being abused. They are not allowed to actually own themselves. So a man who is not like macho or whatever is always shamed. He's always seen as if, so it's almost as if you must be that toxicity. Oh, why are you behaving like a woman? Why are you doing this? But that's who he is. He's not the kind of one that wants to be all over the place, lording it over people, but they are being shamed from speaking. And then also, the women have the woman card to use. The man doesn't have the man card to use. So you cannot come and say, oh, it's because of I'm a man, that's why I was denied this. But a woman can easily come and say, oh, it's because I'm a woman, I didn't get it. I always say to them, no, please, it's not because you're a woman. Just go back and keep trying. You failed the first time. For example, let's say, for example, a man and a woman run for election, right? And they both don't lose out. The woman will easily say, oh, it's because I'm a woman that I did not win. They did not allow me to win. And she gives up. But a man doesn't have that. And so what happens? He either goes in and continue fighting to get it until he gets it and all of that. Why the woman? That's why earlier on, if you realize, I said to women, ensure you don't use the woman card. I don't fail at something and say it's because I'm a woman that I didn't get it. Yep. No, it's because I made one mistake. So I'm going to sit down and say, what did I do right? What did I do wrong? And so learn from it and go on and go better. So women have that, and men don't have that. And also sometimes in families, for example, when it comes to being cared for, women have somebody that, and it can be an advantage and a disadvantage, because they always have, somebody else will take care of their problem. So you're brought up that there will be a knight in shining armor. I have a daughter, I have a son and a daughter, and I didn't bring any of them up to believe there's a knight in shining armor. I never, ever, ever told my daughter that, there's going to be a man that will take care of her. Never. I brought her up knowing that she is the one that will take care of herself, her finances, in charge of her finances and everything. She's working, doing her thing, the way, not that there's ever going to be a man. So men are brought up with this, so much pressure. They have to do this. They have to take care of this. They have to take care of another person. So you see people coming into a relationship with a sense of entitlement that the man is supposed to take care of you. No, you're supposed to take care of yourself. Yeah. Come into a relationship, or not that you're putting a burden on him that, he has to be the one to take care of your needs. I mean, you find some people as ridiculous as I did a show one time. I think Wealth is a Woman. That when we're doing our talk, Wealth is a Woman, and then somebody was telling me about her friend, a student who broke up with the boyfriend because he didn't give her 3,000 naira to buy something. And I'm like, what happened to her earning her own money and having her own 3,000 naira? Why should the burden of any 3,000 naira, giving you 3,000 naira, be on your mind because he's your boyfriend? No, that shouldn't happen. That is a burden that shouldn't be allowed to happen. And I think that also needs to be stopped. So it's not, nobody is having it easy, really. But it's just that, yes, there's a bit of slight advantage in terms of patriarchy, where some of the things are being allowed. For example, a woman wants to run for office. She's told that, you can't do this because you're a woman and all of that. Men really don't have as much of that. They being put down, but they are not having it easy.
This is so good. You're so good. So by observation, this is in the wider world now, we begin to see that the countries that are led by women, especially with regard to COVID, they had a good control and low rates of COVID casualties and infection rates. And when you just see the madness even going on in America, do you feel, do you think it's time for men to move over to let women lead more and reduce this nonsense rate of bad governance we're seeing in the world?
Absolutely. I totally believe in that, because at the rate at which we are going, you cannot survive by using 50% of yourself. It's just like a human being with two legs deciding to walk with one leg. I mean, things are not going to be the way they should be, because that's exactly what we are doing right now. We're only using 50% of ourselves when we push women aside. And even in houses and things like that, in our homes, it's mostly the women that are always in charge. Forget that thing that they say the man is the head of the family. That one are by mouth. I had a young couple that came to visit me yesterday, and I was just trying to talk to them. I said, look, there are some things that the woman is really the one that is in charge of the house. There are some things that, and I've learned early on, that I will just tell you this is what needs to be done. I will just sow the seed and move on. Sometimes it will take. Let me just give this example now. Let me digress. Yesterday, yesterday, the day before yesterday, my husband entered the kitchen and he was like, "Oh, we need. I will need to change this top and then put marble top on this." And I was just like this, looking at him. Over the years, I've learned something. When I came back from UK, I was saying to him that, "Oh, I don't like the way my table, the kitchen top was looking." So and he was like, "No, what is wrong with it? Is this not good enough?" Blah, 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 blah. I just left it. What I knew is that I had sown that seed. So sometimes it takes him a month, a week. Some will be years, some will be like 10 years, some will like 3 years, 5 years before what you wanted to do it's done. But I know that at the end of the day, all I need to do is that I will allow you own the ownership.
Yeah.
Nobody cares. So I don't care who is getting credit.
Doesn't matter how you get what you want, right? As long as you get what you want.
Exactly. Yep. So how he came doesn't concern me. So I know that. So I was like, I was listening to him. This is something that I said when I came back to Nigeria in September. And so this is November. You're not coming into the kitchen and you're owning it. I'm like, okay, keep owning it. So in terms of leadership of the house, it's really women that do that. And then women are good at multitasking, because we're brought up in such a way that we're doing so many things at the same time. Even as a mother or as a wife and mother, there's so many things so they're very good at that. And there's this leadership needs empathy. It needs that empathetic. Any leader that, and I think even in Nigeria, I said to Nigeria, you are calling politicians to come and rule, to come and be in office when they've never cared for you when you are being killed, when injustice is being meted on you. So how will they care for you when they get there? So leadership needs empathy. So when you are able to have the empathetic leadership, it works better, and you find out that things are being done more. And it doesn't mean that there aren't men that are good or women that are good, but in a way, our research has shown a lot that when more women are in governance, there tends to be good governance given and that accountability. And women are not easily swayed. They can be a bit, focus on the issue, not just because I'm a woman, but just for me, I'm very objective when it comes to things. I don't have any loyalty to whether any gender or trying to hold on to. No, things have to be said the way they are, good or bad. I have the capacity to look at myself and say, Aisha, this is where you are not doing right and whatever. So for me, it's not a gender war. It's just looking at the issues the way. And then when it comes to sacrifice and doing things not for the money, women do that more. Even if you look at schools, for example, all of these parents, teachers association, or any voluntary something that needs to be done in children's, it's mostly women that are there. It's mostly women that are in the leadership position, PTA presidents and all of that. It's mostly women. It's when you now come to issue that there is money, you find out that they are pushed aside and they go to somewhere. But I think leadership in terms of having women in office, at the end of the day, it's for the good of everyone. But there's one thing that always, and I forgot to mention this, and I think I'm going to add this, that women always fall victim of, is the fact that they tend to take on, when one woman does something, it's as if they want to rub it all over all women. And I said to women, don't ever allow that. You are not a woman, you are you. Now, we deal women, this is what you do. You accept it. No, what about you men? Is that what you do? So don't ever accept when they want to lump, they sometimes want to lump women together and like, oh, women are like this. No, women are not like this. Aisha is like this. Mary is like that. Rose is like that. Hawa is like this. That's how we are all different people. So don't just yeah, we are individual. Don't just stop because the crime of one woman is made to affect every other person. For example, in Nigeria, they will say to you that, oh, you know, how would they make if they put women in leadership position? What's this woman's name that was our former Minister of Petroleum, Desiani? And then they'll come and say, oh, Desiani did A and B. I always say to them, for every one Desiani, there are thousands of Dasuki. And that didn't stop men from running for office. So let Desianis, whatever, it should not be used to judge every other woman. The same way you didn't use Dasuki to judge every other man.
So how do you think we can, just to try and close this up, how do you think men and women or men can work closely and productively with women in a male-dominated society like we see all around the world?
By not seeing each other as competition and by having mutual respect for each other. And I think the biggest thing comes from the fact that I had a conversation with my son one time. Maybe I will try and look for that. I had it on my YouTube. I probably will send it to you and share it with. So on the International Youth Day, I had a conversation with my children. And I asked my son, why do you think men have this patriarchal, I call it patriarchal arrogance, where even in spiritual matters, a man thinks that, oh, he's exempted. For example, they'll be like, oh, a woman, you have to be a virgin when you get married. I'm like, what about you as a man? Don't you have to be a virgin too? Nobody owes you virginity. It's everybody's business. Whether she's a virgin or it's not a virgin, it's her business with her creator. It's not her business with you. The same way. So this arrogance where they think that, oh, they are exempted, oh, they can commit, the same sin. And as a man, it's the woman's, that's where the focus is. And I was asking him and he said, oh, it's because they've not washed plates. I know we laughed over that. It was like, oh, if you wash plates, and because I brought up my children to know that nobody is more than the other one. They are all the same human beings and they had opportunities, the same opportunity and did their own thing. So if we don't see ourselves as competition and then there's mutual respect, then people will be able to work together. Because what you have really is that there's no respect. Yeah. A woman is talking, you just shut her down. And then you find out that some women, because they just go, I'm the kind of person you can't shut me down. Yeah, boss, how you want to happen now? Wait till happen. I want to talk. You know what I mean? We don't go talk with that one now. So because there are a lot of people, when they immediately, and some people actually do it without knowing.
Yeah.
It's not that, it's already, yes, they've been programmed and been conditioned to behave in that manner. Because even in their houses, they were allowed to all of these excesses. So they just think it's normal. Sometimes it's when you actually point their attention to it, that they realize, oh, sorry, I didn't know this was what I was doing. So it's all about, first of all, seeing the other person with respect and knowing that they have a right the same way you have a right. For me, that's the way I always look at people in whatever situation, that the rights I have is the same right that you have. And so because of that, I have to learn how to listen and be there and do something. Let me give you an example. I had been at a program, at a webinar, and then other people were being introduced, male were being introduced. And then when he got to the female, and it was something to do with, sexual abuse kind of, I can't remember it precisely, but on that note. And then he was talking about, and then he was like, oh, the beautiful, the whatever, which in its own sense doesn't mean anything. Then I said to him, that's wrong. Why did it that when you got to her, it became about her physical attributes? Why didn't you introduce the male as the handsome Mr. So and so and so? Why did it get to the woman and it now turned to the beautiful, the elegant? You see, at that moment, that's exactly what you're doing. You're objectifying her. Wow. And that in a way, it's wrong without knowing. And so whether he was not like, oh yeah, it's true that he never thought about it that way. From there on, he will take it. So these are certain things that we do with unconsciously, because we've been, like you did say, we've been programmed, we've been conditioned.
Sorry, I have to interrupt you though, but it's somehow that's also partly women are partly responsible for that, because women have been, in my own opinion, they've been told that that is how you have to talk to them. So it almost is, it's a conditioning, it's a programming, like we're the weaker vessel, so you must treat us this way. So to the man, even though there's a programming going there, you feel like if you don't say those things, the woman won't find herself. So yeah, women were about words and things like that. And it's through that programming. Don't you think it's through that programming that men begin to objectify women?
So yeah, it goes either way. So sometimes abuses are allowed because some people allow room for abuse. I need to hear some words. My husband calls me the beautiful one, but I don't expect any other person to call me the beautiful. Are you okay?
Wow.
What's my beautiful to do with this?
Okay.
You understand? So I need to hear certain compliments from certain people. I remember the other day there was an uproar on Twitter because a lady had posted that her driver called her sexy. And I said, that's so inappropriate. What's your business with and then when she said that, and people were like, oh, what's the big deal? And there's a lot of big deal. There are certain people I want to hear them tell me how beautiful I am. My husband, for one, called me the beautiful one and all of that. But I don't expect that when I'm coming to a program, you're talking about my beauty, because my beauty is none of your business. It's what I'm bringing to the table, and that has to do with my intellect. And so sometimes people, like, for example, I wear the hijab, and there are a lot of people who feel like, oh, why are you wearing the hijab? Or maybe when I'm doing something and I'm doing, I carry dreadlocks, and like, oh, why are you doing your hair? Nobody is going to see it anyway. I'm like, I'm not doing it for anybody. I'm doing it for myself. And I'm happy with what it's under my hijab, but they can't understand. And I always like, when I want people, when I'm relating with anybody, relate with my intellect. It's not about whether I'm big, I'm fat, I'm thin, and whatever. That's not anybody's business. But of course, it's that upbringing, of course. That's why when girls are going, oh, fine girl, beautiful girl, you hardly ever see them telling a boy, handsome boy, and all of that. Right from childhood, they started objectifying the time. So don't come and be calling my daughter a beautiful girl. It's none of your business. That's her business. Relate to that the way so you shouldn't come and start objecting. That's where all of this starts. And then she grows up thinking that she has to hear this. So when she doesn't hear them, it becomes an issue. She doesn't feel complete. And that's where she's looking for validation. But then her dad needs to tell her that. My husband tells his daughter how much she's a queen, how much she's a princess, how much she's so beautiful, how she's this, how she's that. I expect him to give her that validation. And she, of course, knows she's this and how she wants to be that millionaire, that billionaire, and everything. But it's not for someone else to come and start objectifying her. And then she carries that on from childhood and begin to grow up. It's all about, I want to relate with her at her intellectual level. This is what she's bringing to the table. So it doesn't matter whether she has long hair, short hair, bow leg, whatever it is that needs to happen. That's not the way.
So we'll end with this last question, just because you're the face of it. End SARS. What is next and what can be expected? Is the movement dead?
What is next is that as the Nigerian youth have woken up and they're not going back to their state. They say a mind once educated is stretched and cannot go back to its uneducated state. So the same thing about a voice that has been awakening cannot be taken back to its sleepy stage again. And so we're seeing more of that voice being used. We're seeing more of the Nigerian youth are not giving up. We saw what is happening with them, even taking on the corporate world, where they're calling for boycott of Access Bank and what they're doing. So that's great. So what next, of course, is to fix politics, is for them to focus on ensuring that their voices are heard, not just in protest, but also in ensuring the people who go into office, because at the end of the day, all of these things are happening because of bad governance. And so they already are quite a number of people who are interested in the fact that what happens during election, how can they get the right people into office? And for those in diaspora, the Nigerians in diaspora must begin to work towards ensuring that they are part of the political power. You cannot be such big economic player, and then when it comes to politics, Nigerians in diaspora are powerless. Nigerians in diaspora are contributing almost 4% of the GDP. They are contributing between 20 to 24 billion dollars per annum, remitting it back to Nigeria. That's huge. Yeah. That's an economic power. That's but yet you come to politics, then they don't have any power. And there are over 10 million Nigerians in diaspora. And these are Nigerians that are known. These are Nigerians that they have their identity. If there's any Nigeria that has more identity, the Nigerians in diaspora, some of us, and most of us don't even have ID cards and whatever. So they are known, they are educated, they don't have any poverty that can be weaponized. They can't give them 5,000 naira to buy their vote. They can't intimidate them with talks, with military and police, and they can make a difference. And they have a huge power of a circle of influence where they can talk to the people back home that they are sending money to and influence their votes. The Nigerian president in 2015 won with about 15 million votes. So imagine the power that the Nigerians in diaspora have, and which is not being utilized. And that's one of the things that needs to be put forth. And then hopefully the Nigerians in diaspora begin to work towards that. But End SARS, of course, one of the things is that they're not keeping quiet. Their voices have been awakened, and they're looking at politics and how they can ensure that they begin to have a say politically and ensure that the right people are getting into office. Somebody is asking, how do we lobby for Nigerians in diaspora to vote? Is to begin to use the associations that you have out there, is to begin to ensure that use the power that you have. If you have to say, okay, if we don't come in here, we're not going to send in remit money back, then let that be done. But there has to be tough law. We cannot have people be voting in all sorts of people, and then you have to be the one to carry the problems. There are a lot of associations that need to be used, and they need to use that power. APC government promised Nigerians in diaspora that they were going to allow them to start voting. They were going to work on them, and it's already 5 years and they haven't done that. And it is time for the Nigerians in diaspora to come together and ensure that that happens.
Wow, Aisha, want to say a big thank you. Everybody, can we just show Aisha some love? Please receive some love from us. Thrivers community, you know how we do every Monday. Can we all just say a big, big thank you? I'm not going to let you go until you receive some love as much as you have given out. Can we all extend gratitude to Aisha? No, they're here. They're here. Been so amazing, so amazing. Let's use words. Aisha loves words. Let's use words. Aisha has been so gracious to us today. She's come and added so much value to us. 2.5 hours, almost 3 hours. We've never done it here on the Thrivers Group. Aisha, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I won't disturb you for another year at least. We really do appreciate you. Thank you so much for coming to add value. And from us, we celebrate your husband and celebrate your wife, and we celebrate your children, and we celebrate all that you are doing in Nigeria, and just giving freedom to young people, and giving freedom to women, and giving freedom to people at large. This has been your role model. This has been a masterclass in so many ways. Business, finance, everything. You've given so much of yourself, and we bless you. We know that God will take care of you and protect you. Thank you so much for being a blessing to our world. We appreciate you. Everybody, Aisha Yesufu, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, guys, next week, I've got another friend coming in. We're going to be discussing mental health.